G'day guys, welcome back. Welcome to Pouring Your Heart Out. Today, a little experiment. Yes, ooh, you know how I love my experiments. I am using a really thin resin today. This is the Platinum Ultra Clear. It doesn't leave any mound at all when you do that. It's kind of like when you're testing your paint for an acrylic pour. There's no mound, you guys, no mound. When you do the Art Pro, there's a mound, but no mound on this. So I'm going to see if I can get the fairy flower type technique to work with a really thin resin. Now, I've chosen one of my little pre-made dots, one of these ones, the black and kind of goldish color. I just trim them down with my little clippers. What does that say on there? I don't know if that's an I. M-I-H-K-L, I think. I don't know. Miklo. Don't know. Anyway, I got it on Amazon. So I'm just going to, you trim it up with those and then you stick it down in the center where you want it to be. I've actually found that if you know how it's domed on the top side, if you trim it quite a lot, you're trimming off that domed side and you can still use the more shiny side face down. So I've been doing that just with, I'll try that with this one. So see how that goes. Gonna make sure it's in the center. And if you want to be really accurate, you can sort of measure, but it's tricky because the edges aren't totally uniform. This is the Cascade mold. It's my favorite for the fairy flower technique. Fairy, fantasy, cascade flower, whatever you want to call it. All right, so that's in there. Now, because it's a really thin resin, I'm going to reduce the number of dots of my white paste. I am using this Cast and Craft today. It's got a high ratio of oil in it, so it kind of, I think it floats more just because it's really oily. Okay, so let's do 6. See how that goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. See how it goes. Look, it might not work. It might not be heavy enough. But the resin is quite thin, so I sort of feel as if I need to accommodate that. Thinner white, thinner resin. Thicker white, thicker resin. Oh, I don't know. So anyway, going for some natural, neutral tones again today. I really liked them when I did my other sort of muted tones. So quite transparent, I guess. Yeah, probably similar to what I would do with 3D blue, maybe a little bit heavier. But you can definitely see the stick through there. Make sure it's mixed really well. Actually, I might mix it one more time. All right, colours. Now, I am using the Holbein inks. I've found that the Holbein inks with the Cast and Craft work the best. I did try a different ink the other day. It didn't work. It wasn't very good. It was not attractive. Right, this one is Burnt Umber. Now, depending on how dark it is, I might have to add a bit of black. 1, 2, 3. Try that. It's really transparent on the stick. All right, let's do another 2. See what that looks like. Okay, now I'm going to leave that. I tend to make my colours too dark. I'm just going to do 5 of those. I'm going to put the black away. I'm not going to use it. I'll write on my notes. 5. Because when you're looking at it on the stick, it looks really transparent. But it's going to be deeper than what's on the stick. So it's going to look darker because, you know, it's in a deeper mold. So I think that always throws me. I look at that and go, oh, it looks too pale. But then when it's in the mold, you know, it's deeper. So it looks darker in there. So, yeah, I got to remember that. Make it look a bit darker than, make it look not so dark when you're looking at the stick. All right, yellow ochre. Let's see what that one does. 1, 2, 3. See what that does. Excuse my dirty sticks. I just reuse my sticks. So if you look at it on the side there, it's still quite transparent, isn't it? What about this one? Yeah, okay. Oh gosh. All right, let's just leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. Like I said, I always make mine too dark. So that's got 5, that's got 3. Now this one's just a little combination of some orange mica powder and some bronze mica powder. A tiny, tiny little bit of resin in there. It's only just covering the bottom of the cup. And I'm just going to take that much. Can you see? Just that much. That'll be enough. I might add more. We'll see. It needs to be, doesn't need to be opaque because you want it to be heavy. I've just spilt in there. Maybe a tiny bit more. Just what was stuck to my wet stick there. So it's kind of like it's just a bronze really with a tiny bit of orange in it. I think that'll do. All right, and then my clear push. Now what I'm doing, because this resin is a really thin resin, I've taken some out, about 1 ounce for my second push. I'm not going to do a fresh push, and this is my first. So first push, second push. And I don't think I'm going to add... Might add, I've got this orange, yellow. It's more of an orangish yellow. That was the first one. I'm just wondering if I should put just 1 drop in there for my first push. Just for something a little bit different. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. And then that one's just going to be clear. Oh gosh, now I've got to clean up this mess where I've dropped the mica powder in. All right, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to get a baby wipe. Normally I wouldn't mix things over my mold, but I'm trying to show you what I'm doing. All right, we'll just wipe that. Okay, now does my center look as if it's in the center? I hope so. All right, so the first thing we need to do is put the white in the bag, in the piping bag. Now, because it's such a thin resin, I am assuming that the resin is just going to want to pour out of my little piping bag. So I'm going to have to make the hole really quite small to begin with and just test it, because I think it's just going to pour out, hey, being so thin. I'm a bit worried about my yellow push. It looks yellow and I want it orange. Never mind. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, just with this little bronze, just going to pop it in here. Okay, just in there. And hopefully the mica powder's, you know, a little bit heavy, and it'll just kind of sink into those little cascade crevices. If you preferred, you could just dust these first with your little brush and your mica powder. You can do that, which I have been doing previously on some of my other videos, and I just thought we'll get a little bit of this spreading, so it gives a little bit of a sheen. I mean, the mica powder did kind of spread a little bit, but not as much as this, so just a tiny bit. You don't need a lot. This is why I kind of call it my cascade flower, just because I'm using the cascade mold and we're colouring in the tips of the cascade, so that's kind of where it's got its name from, just to differentiate between this and the fairy flower, which was created by Micah from resincourses.com, which as usual I will link her course down below for you, and there's also a coupon code, and she'll tell you how much of everything to use. And then once you've done her course and you've kind of learnt, then the sky's the limit. You can go and create your own beautiful things. Now I'm not using all of that. I think that's enough. All right, so we'll just put these 2 pushes at the back here. So the next thing I want to do is move that. All right, I'm going to pour in my middle color. Looks quite sort of orangish, doesn't it? But when you look on there, it's more of a mustard. It's more of a mustard on there, but anyway. Once it's mixed with this one, who knows what we'll get? Who knows? All right, so this one around the outside, like so. Oh, it's not looking dark enough. I always worry. Oh gosh. But yeah, like I said, I tend to make my colors too dark, and then I lose that wispy, blended, natural look if I get my colors too dark. Yeah, you sort of see the rings, you see the edges of the color, and I don't like that. I prefer it to be more of a gentle blend. So that's why I'm going to try lighter. Okay, here we go with my little piping bag. And I'm just going to make sure that that's still pushed down. We haven't got any resin flying under it. Okay. Now, I'm going to go, well, you can't go too small because the top of the bag has got a lot of plastic on it. Now where the point is, it's like a lot of plastic. It's not really hollow right in the center there. Okay, that's too small. I'll just do what I normally do. I don't know, can you see that? About that. Just so that little drops come out. All right, here we go, dotting. Feel free to, oh, it is coming out fast. Drip, 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 drip. Okay, I'm not squeezing at all. Oh, this is fun. I'm not squeezing at all. I'm just moving my hand and it's dripping out. That's good. I like the sound of that. Yeah, not squeezing at all, just dripping out. And it's not dripping too fast, like I can control it. So yeah, be interesting to see what it does, hey? Whether or not it'll work. So I don't want my dots to be too big, so I'm not really squeezing. As the bag empties a little bit, I'll have to put a little bit of pressure on it. But yeah, I don't want the dots to be too big because the resin is so thin, and you know, they'll obviously just fall straight through. Around we go again. I've done a lot of these sorts of fairy flower type videos lately, and some of them, you know, I might be editing, I might do some like, you know, one or two a day, and then I'll sit down and I'll edit them all at once, and then I'll upload them to my channel, not make them live, but upload them. And sometimes I get them in the wrong order because I'm uploading them all, and I'm thinking, oh gosh, which one did I do first? So if you do see some, you know, and they're not quite in order. I think I did one where I showed you the cavoodle puppies were 2 weeks old, and then the next week I showed you the cavoodle puppies were just born, and I think, oh my gosh, I've done them in the wrong order. But anyway, because I'm enjoying doing these, and I'm doing such a lot of them, and obviously I don't want to flood you with too many, so I've got lots waiting to upload, and I'm trying to do other things in between. So show you a different paw, then a flower, then a different paw, and then a flower. So because I've got so many waiting there to upload for you. So my earlier ones, and I look at them now and I go, oh, that's you know, not as wonderful as I'm doing now because I've been learning. So the ones that I'm doing now, I feel are much better than the ones that I did 2 weeks ago, which you're only just seeing now. if that makes sense. Now I need to leave about half my white for after this first push. We don't even need to go this far back, but anyway, just covering the whole surface with dots. All right, that'll do, that'll do. I think I've still got half left. Wishing I'd made this black now. I wonder if I can put a tiny bit of black in there. Little drop of black. Little drop of black. Okay, here am I going dark again. I know. Oh gosh, look at that. Anyway, let's see what this does. Probably going to ruin it now. But look on there, it looks so light. Should have just left it like that. I fiddle. All right, here we go. In with the push. All right, I'm not going to scrape it out. And now with the rest of this white, we're going to go dotting again. I'm going to start in here where I can see the white is not very opaque. Everything's moving as I'm dotting. So now I'm putting a little bit of pressure on the bag and just moving my hand. I can hear something in the dog room, like a shredding type of a noise. What are you guys doing in there? It's always a worry when you hear noises. It's all quiet except you hear like a shredding noise and I think, oh, what have they got? Sometimes, because the puppy, well, she's about 6 months. She's the one that likes playing in her water bowl. So I went in before and there's water everywhere and the water bowl is muddy. And I think, okay, you've been in the water bowl again. And now I can hear something here, like she's brought a branch or some leaves or something in by the sounds of it. I can hear something going on. All right. More dots. Sometimes if you don't do like dots between here and here, you get like a much more concentrated petal in the center and not so much on the outside. Now I'm just going to go in and do more. I haven't got that much white left actually. I must have used more than I was expecting to on the first layer. I'm trying to cover in all these little dark areas that I can see. I don't want to see any of that dark resin that I poured in. Hopefully I haven't ruined it by making my push dark. Oh gosh. I get a plan, I write it down, and then I don't stick to it. I change things halfway through. Oh gosh. Oops. Now the ultra clear does take a little bit longer to cure because it's a thinner resin. So once it's stopped moving and I can pick it up, so probably in a couple of hours, I will put it in my curing machine as I do with my other pieces. And hopefully I'll be able to get it out in 6 or 8 hours, something like that. Actually probably a bit later because my daughter Christy's come up for the weekend and we're off to the movies this afternoon. We do our usual thing when she comes up, go up to the movies. Okay, I think that's about all I can do. The white isn't sinking. Like I was expecting it just to drop straight down, but it hasn't done that. So, although it usually takes about 15-20 minutes, you know, to start dropping down. So we'll just have to see what happens. Okay, I can't get any more out. Okay, so that's it. Let's do the last of these pushes, and this is just going to be the clear one now. Look, no droppage at all. Okay. Now I've got a tiny little bit of resin left there, so great time to make some more dots. So I'll leave that there. Make some more dots. All right, I'm going to come back and check on that in about 20 minutes and see if any of the white has dropped. Cross fingers. Ta-da. It should drop. You just need to wait for it to drop. I'm just going to give it a very light little torching. Okay, that's it. I'm going to cover it. I'm just going to pop a sieve over it actually, because it's only one little piece. It's quite full, isn't it? Quite full. Put a little sieve over it and come back and see what it's doing in about 20 minutes. While I'm waiting for this to do its thing, I just added some glitters to this. Now, I generally add like 3 or 4 different glitters. I've got some green, like glitter flakes. I've got some tiny green glitter. I've got a bit of black glitter. I've got some of the Resin opal green in there. So just a little combination. So basically just get a little bit, because it's quite thin, and just going to drop. Just pretend you're making cookies. Whoops. Whoa, whoa, whoa. If you do make a mistake, you can just wipe it off, okay? Wipe it off, put it back in. But yeah, I like to do a really thick, chunky glitter. Otherwise, once it spreads, you end up with a lot of clear around the edge. So I make it like pretty saturated and thick with the glitter. Now, just put a little dot on to start with, because it will spread, and I personally don't like my centers to be too big. It just saves you having to trim them down, that's all, if you start small. And there's a lot here. You wouldn't think there's quite a lot there, but there's a lot there. It's going to make a lot of dots. So yeah, I'll just do this while I wait for my fairy flower to finish moving. But yeah, look, don't worry too much if you know, it goes a funny shape or something. You just trim it up. And sometimes it's nice to have, you know, something that's not too symmetrical, that looks a little bit more natural. When I'm trimming them up, I do sort of tend to not make them too round, a little bit more organic looking, I guess. So yeah, just a little bits. So you get the general idea. I'll keep doing that, and then I'll come back to you hopefully when the white has dropped. Finished all my little dots. See, some of them blend and get bigger and stretch all out of shape, but you can just trim it, it's fine. So anyway, there's that. Now this, I checked it after 10 minutes, hadn't done anything. I think it's about 20 minutes now, and I can see down there. Now I'm going to shine a torch in. Look away if you don't like flickering lights. You can see, hopefully you can see how it's dropped down there. You can see how that white's kind of dropped to the bottom down there. Hasn't closed totally, because I can still see the mold between the dots and the disc. What's the other side doing? Similar. So I'm going to come back in another 10 minutes or so. What's this resin doing? Yep, it's still really thin. So I'm going to come back in another 10 minutes and see if it's closed. If not, I will just suck a bit out of the middle. Actually, I've decided I'm just going to do it now. Should I? Oh, no. I think it's moving still. It's moving. All right, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it. Come back in 10. So it's been another 10 minutes, and look, it's closing up. It's moved. Can't really see the other side. It's covered in white. I think it's closed. It's just. I'll go around this side. I can't see on that side. This is the only side I can see, and there's a little bit of space there between the petals and the disc. So Oh, look, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to do like one, maybe 2 mil, just to make sure it's closed. All right, because I don't want the elongated petals, and it may close up on its own. Do you think maybe I should just leave it? No, I never know. I'm just going to take out a tiny bit, as close to the disc as I can. There we go. 2 mil, look, 2 mil, that's all I'm doing. As close to the disc as I can, because I don't want to suck the disc up, but I do want to get the bottom to close. All right, so that's me done. That's me done, happy with that. Close it up. I'm not going to touch it now for a few hours. All right, see you soon. Hope it works. Alrighty, I've come back from the movies. And I thought, I'll just go and check my resin. I wasn't expecting it to be cured, but it is. It's ready. And it looks really good. It looks really good. It looks very, looks like a dragon flower. Just everything's just, moved in. Everything's moved in. So it looks very wispy. Center's closed. But, as you know, we don't know what the other side's doing. It could just be a big mess. I said to my husband, I've tried a different resin, and he said, oh, what viscosity was it? He's learning. I said, oh, it's really low viscosity, so it's thin, so the white dots may just have fallen straight through, and it could just be a big blobby mess on the other side. That's how I explained it to him. So let's see. Oh, please work. Ah, no, it's not a big blobby mess. But the white mustn't have been heavy enough. Look at that. I've kind of lost all the petals. I honestly thought it was just going to all drop straight through. But maybe I'll have to go back to 8 of my cast and craft drops. Otherwise, too much ink. Too much ink will do this. It'll stop the white from dropping down properly. Okay, so it's been a couple of days. I wasn't sure if I was going to put this video up or not, but look, I think I will, because it's nice to see what other resins do. So obviously I haven't got the amazing petals, but it's still pretty, and I think it deserves to still go up. And we can see the difference a thin resin makes to a thicker resin. So we've got gorgeous little sprinkle there of that metallic on the tips. You can see how it just sort of spreads a little bit. So it's got some yellow and some orange and some brown. Center's worked out nicely. And yeah, so I thought I'll do a quick little walk around and say goodbye properly. There you go. It looks really nice there, doesn't it? It's growing on me. Like I said, I wasn't going to put the video up, but I think it's worth putting up so that we can learn from it. All right, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed my video. Hope you've learned a little bit about thicker resins, thinner resins, how they work differently with the fairy flower. And I'll see you all again, hopefully real soon, for the next one. I'm going to do better next time. Next time I do these colours, you mark my words, I'm going to do better. All right? All right. Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.